My child, stop. Do not brush past these words as if they were meant for someone else. My child, I have called to you again and again, in quiet whispers, in restless nights, through unexpected delays, through moments when your heart knew something was not right. I have reached for you with patience that never failed, but hear me now. I will not force your hand. I will not beg you to choose the path that leads to life. This is your warning, spoken not from anger, but from a father's love that refuses to watch you walk toward danger without calling your name one more time. You may think this is just another video, another title that happened to catch your attention. It is not. Your eyes did not settle here by accident. There are countless distractions competing for your focus, yet somehow you stopped here. That pause was not meaningless. I know the questions you have carried in silence. I know the battles you have hidden behind your smile. I have seen the tears no one else noticed, heard the prayers you whispered when you believed no one was listening, and I have watched you wrestle between obedience and compromise, between trusting me and following the voices that promise easier roads. Beloved, there have been moments when you felt my gentle correction, yet you convinced yourself there would always be another opportunity, another sign, another tomorrow. But listen carefully. Love warns before it watches destruction unfold. I have not come to condemn you. I have come to awaken you. There are doors you keep trying to force open that I have lovingly kept closed. There are paths you keep returning to that cannot carry you into the future I prepared for you. My patience hath been greater than you can imagine, but my warnings are gifts, not punishments. They are the mercy that stands between you and regret. If you turn away from this moment too quickly, you may dismiss the very answer you have been asking me to send. You may overlook the truth your spirit has been longing to hear. But if you remain, if you listen with an open heart instead of a guarded mind, you may finally understand why your peace has been unsettled, why certain things have not worked despite all your effort, and why I have continued calling your name even when you wandered farther than you ever intended. I have not abandoned you. I have been nearer than your next breath, waiting for the moment when you would truly listen, not out of fear, but out of trust. This message is not the end of my mercy. It is the doorway back into it. So stay with me now, my child, because what I am about to reveal is the very reason I said I won't beg again. This is your last warning. My child, I need you to stop and truly hear me now, because I am not speaking into your life the way I have before. You have felt my gentle nudges. You have sensed my quiet warnings. You have known those moments when something inside you became unsettled and you could not explain why. That was me reaching for you in ways you were meant to recognize. I have been patient with you, more patient than you understand. I have watched you wrestle with confusion, with delay, with private battles you have hidden from everyone around you. I have seen the places in your heart where you have tried to convince yourself that you still have more time, that you can keep putting off what you already know needs to change. But I am telling you now, with all the love of a father who refuses to lose what belongs to him, this is the moment I will not stay silent anymore. I am not coming to you with condemnation. I am not coming to crush you under guilt. I am coming to you because I know exactly how close you have been walking to things that could wound you more deeply than you realize. And I love you too much to keep whispering while you drift farther away. You may think this is just another emotional moment, another passing conviction, another stirring that will fade once the day moves on. But deep inside, you already know this is different. You can feel the weight of it. You can feel that this is not just a feeling passing through you. This is truth standing in front of you, asking for an answer. I have spoken to you in quiet ways before because I wanted you to come close willingly, not out of fear, but out of trust. I wanted your heart, not your panic. Yet you kept delaying. You kept telling yourself that you would deal with it later, pray later, surrender later, let go later, return later. And while you kept saying later, your soul kept growing more tired. The noise around you grew louder. The peace inside you grew weaker. You learned how to keep moving while something in you was slowly starving. That is why I am speaking to you plainly now. I am not begging for your attention, as if I am competing with the things you have put before me. I am calling you as your father, and I am telling you that this is the moment where you must stop running in circles and finally face what you already know. I am here. I am still calling you. I am still opening the door. But I need you to understand that I will not keep speaking to you in softer and softer ways while you keep choosing distance. This moment matters, and what you do with it will shape more than you can see right now. My child, I need you to understand something that you have overlooked for far too long. You keep thinking this warning began today, but it did not. I have been speaking to you for much longer than this moment. I have reached for you in ways that were quiet enough to preserve your freedom, but clear enough that your spirit could recognize me if you were willing to be honest. You have called certain moments bad timing, strange setbacks, or unfortunate detours. Yet many of those moments were my hand stepping in front of a road you were about to take. I closed doors that would have looked beautiful at first and destructive later. I unsettled your peace around people who smiled at you while carrying the power to damage what I placed inside you. I let certain plans fall apart because you were asking me for blessing while walking toward something that would have stolen your clarity. Sit with it for a moment. Breathe and think carefully. You were not being ignored. You were being interrupted. You were not being denied. You were being protected. What felt like a wall was often my mercy standing between you and a future that would have cost you more than you were ready to lose. I need you to stop romanticizing the very things I was trying to rescue you from. Stop calling your disobedience independence. Stop calling your compromise harmless. Stop telling yourself that because you survived something, it must have been safe. I preserved you in places that should have broken you, and that preservation was not permission to keep going. It was a warning wrapped in grace. You felt the uneasiness after certain conversations. You felt the heaviness after certain choices. You felt that inward sting when you knew you had stepped outside what I had already shown you. That was not shame meant to bury you. That was my voice trying to turn you before you drifted too far. Listen closely now. I am asking you to look back with honesty, not nostalgia. Remember the relationships that drained you, the habits that dulled you, the distractions that kept you numb, the doors that slammed shut just as you were certain they would open. See them through my eyes. Let the picture become clear. I have been warning you because I have been loving you. I have been restraining what could have rushed in because I knew you were not seeing the full cost. So do not dismiss this moment as sudden. This is not sudden. This is accumulated mercy. This is the point where all the whispers you brushed aside gather into one clear sentence. Stop. Turn. Come back fully. Let my warning become your rescue before the lesson becomes heavier than it needed to be. My child, I want you to hear my heart clearly because if you misunderstand this moment, you will miss the tenderness inside it. I am not standing before you as a cruel judge trying to frighten you into submission. I am speaking as your father, and a true father knows when gentle patience must become holy clarity. There comes a time when love has to stop speaking in hints and start speaking in truth. That is where you are now. I am not threatening you because I am angry. I am drawing a line because I can see what lies beyond it, and you cannot. You are standing closer to spiritual exhaustion than you realize. You are closer to numbness than you have admitted. You have been telling yourself that you can keep balancing both worlds, that you can hold on to what feeds your flesh while still expecting peace in your spirit, that you can delay surrender and still keep the same sensitivity to my voice. But that is not how this works, and deep down, you know it. A house with a cracked foundation may still look fine for a while, but one hard storm reveals what was already failing underneath. That is where many of your choices have been leading you. I will not smile and stay silent while the structure weakens. So hear me now and receive this the way it is meant to be received. This boundary is mercy. This line is love. I am telling you to stop because I know where just a little longer ends. I am telling you to let go because I know what the thing will become if you keep feeding it. I am telling you to answer me now because repeated delay does not leave you neutral. It shapes you. It teaches your heart how to resist. It teaches your conscience how to quiet itself. It teaches your spirit how to live thirsty and call it normal. I will not allow you to keep mistaking that slow fading for peace. So come closer and let me be plain with you. If you continue ignoring what I am showing you, you will feel the weight of the choice. Not because I stopped loving you, but because love does not cancel consequence. Step back from the edge. Drop what you keep defending. Release what you keep excusing. Open the part of your life you keep guarding from me. I am inviting you, yes, but I am also commanding you because I know what is at stake. Do not treat this as pressure. Treat it as protection. Do not call this harsh. Call it holy. I am still here, still near, still willing to restore what you surrender. But understand me well, my child. The line is real, and the invitation to return is still open right now. My child, this is where I need you to slow down and let the truth settle deep inside you, because one of the greatest deceptions you have believed is not some loud rebellion or obvious sin. It is the quiet assumption that there will always be another moment. You have been living as if tomorrow is guaranteed, as if conviction can be postponed without consequence, as if the tug you feel today will still feel just as strong next week, next month, or next year. But that is not how the soul works, and you know this if you are willing to be honest. Every time you delay what I am asking of you, something inside you adjusts. It becomes easier to explain away what once troubled you. It becomes easier to keep moving while ignoring the ache in your spirit. That is how hearts grow tired. That is how people drift without realizing they are drifting. They do not wake up one morning far from me by accident. They get there one small delay at a time, one compromise at a time, one I'll deal with it later at a time. So listen to me carefully now. Stop assuming you can keep rescheduling surrender like it is an appointment on a calendar. This is not paperwork. This is not a casual delay. This is your soul, and your soul is not a toy you can toss from one corner of your life to another until you feel ready. I want you to picture this clearly. Imagine standing at the edge of a bridge I built for you, solid and strong, reaching over waters that once terrified you. You can see it. You can feel that it is the right way forward. But instead of stepping onto it, you keep pacing near the entrance, convincing yourself you will cross later. While you hesitate, the storm gathers behind you. A wind shifts. The path you came from starts washing away. That is what spiritual delay does. It creates the illusion of safety while danger quietly closes in. I am not telling you this to stir fear for the sake of fear. I am telling you because I want you awake. I want you alert. I want you to understand that some moments are doorways, and doorways are meant to be walked through, not admired from a distance. So stop pacing. Stop rehearsing your excuses. Stop negotiating with what I have already made clear. Come forward. Choose what is right while your heart is still soft enough to respond. Let today be the day you say yes without waiting for the perfect feeling. Step onto the bridge. Trust my footing. Let my voice become your direction. I am still holding the door open, but I am also telling you with love that you cannot keep standing at the threshold forever and call that obedience. Move now. Come closer. Give me the answer you have been withholding. Do not stand at the edge of obedience and call it faith, my child, because even now I am giving you another step to take. As you choose to move instead of delay, I am inviting you to sow into what is feeding your spirit, because every seed you release becomes a bridge for another soul to cross. Have I not said that what is sown in obedience will return in harvest? When you give, you are not losing. You are placing oil into a lamp that will not go out, sending light into places still covered in darkness. If your heart has been stirred, that stirring is not only for your change, but for someone else's rescue. This is your moment to act, not only in surrender, but in support of what I am building. I will breathe upon what you release, and I will multiply it beyond what your eyes can measure. So do not delay again. Honor this moment. Give through Super Thanks. Join as a member, or use the PayPal link in the description, and step fully into obedience now. My child, I want you to be honest with me about something you rarely admit, even to yourself. You have not just been distracted. You have been hiding. The noise around you has become your shelter because silence would force you to hear what your soul has been trying to tell you. You keep filling your days with movement, with screens, with conversations, with tasks, with endless reaching for the next thing, because if you ever sit still long enough, you know what rises to the surface. You feel the ache. You feel the emptiness. You feel the questions you have been avoiding. You feel the parts of you that still need healing. That is why you keep yourself surrounded by noise, because noise can numb for a moment. It can blur the edges. It can make a starving soul feel busy enough to ignore its hunger. But busyness is not peace, and distraction is not healing. You have been standing in a crowded room within your own life, and still feeling lonely. You have been drinking from broken cups, hoping one more sip will finally satisfy you, while the living water I offer you had been within reach the entire time. Come closer now and listen. I am not condemning you for being tired. I am not shaming you for feeling overwhelmed. I am showing you the truth so you can stop mistaking survival for rest. I want you to do something right now in your heart. Set the noise down. Lay it aside for a moment. Picture all the things you used to avoid me stacked around you like boxes in a room so full you can barely move. Some of those boxes are harmless by themselves. Some are responsibilities. Some are habits. Some are comforts. Some are wounds you never let me touch. But together they have become clutter around your spirit. They have crowded the space where my voice used to feel clearer. And now you wonder why you feel distant, why prayer feels heavy, why peace feels faint. It is not because I left. It is because you have built so much around your pain that you can barely hear me through it. So let me invite you and let me command you in love. Clear the room. Turn down the volume. Sit with me. Stop running from the stillness you fear, because stillness is where I have been waiting for you. I speak there. I heal there. I expose what needs to be removed there. Let the quiet become sacred again instead of threatening. Do not rush past this. Stay here. Breathe. Let your heart settle. Let my presence meet you without the interference. You do not need another distraction. You need a divine interruption. And that is exactly what I am giving you now. My child, before I ask you to take another step, I need you to stop pretending with me. You may fool people around you, and perhaps you have become so practiced at carrying yourself a certain way that even you have started believing your own performance. but I see through every layer. I see the smile you put on when you do not want anyone asking questions. I see the way you answer, "I'm fine," when your heart feels like a room with the lights off and the windows sealed shut. I see the pressure you carry in silence, the private habits you excuse, the fears you entertain when nobody is looking, the memories that still sting when they surface unexpectedly. You have learned how to function while hurting. You have learned how to keep moving while something inside you is begging for relief. But listen to me closely now. Surviving is not the same as being whole. Keeping your life upright is not the same as being healed. You have become like a house with the front porch swept clean while the beams inside are quietly splintering. And I am not saying that to shame you. I'm saying it because I love you too much to admire the paint while the structure weakens underneath. Come into the light with me. Stop managing the image and let me touch the interior. You have spent so much energy trying to stay composed that you have forgotten how exhausting concealment really is. You think if you keep the cracks hidden, you can control the story. You think if you keep the wound covered, you can keep living without anyone seeing how deep it goes. But hidden pain does not become harmless. Buried things still breathe. Covered wounds still ache. Unconfessed compromise still drains strength from places you need for the days ahead. So hear my invitation and obey my voice. Put down the mask. Bring me the truth without polishing it. Do not edit your weakness before you hand it to me. Do not rehearse spiritual words while protecting the one thing I am asking you to surrender. Tell me what it is. Name the fear. Name the attachment. Name the secret comfort you reach for when you feel empty. Name the resentment that still has a room in your heart. I already know it, but I want you to stop hiding from the truth of it. Let this moment become honest. Let your heart become open. Step out from behind the smile and stand before me as you are. I am not looking for a performance. I am looking for you. Come close. Stay here. Let me show you what happens when you stop protecting what is hurting you and finally trust me enough to expose it. My child, I know you have spent so much of your life fearing the obvious things. You worry about failure. You worry about rejection. You worry about not having enough, not being enough, not reaching the future you imagine. But the deepest danger in front of you is not the one you keep naming. It is quieter than that. It slips in slowly. It rarely announces itself. The real danger is that you can become used to distance from me and still call your life normal. That is the danger I want you to see. You can keep functioning, keep working, keep talking, keep playing, keep posting, keep showing up for people, and still be spiritually starved beneath the surface. You can become so familiar with living tired, restless, distracted, and inwardly dry that you stop recognizing how abnormal it really is. That is far more serious than a temporary failure. A person who falls can still cry out quickly, but a person who becomes comfortable and drift can lose the urgency to return. That is why I am speaking to you with this weight. I am not only trying to keep you from collapse. I am trying to wake you before numbness settles in like fog over your soul. Picture this with me. Imagine a lamp in a room that once burned bright. It still gives off enough light to move around, enough to make you think everything is fine, but the flame had been shrinking for a long time. You adjusted to the dimness. You learned where the furniture is. You learned how not to trip. You learned how to call that half-light enough. That is what many of your recent days have looked like in the spirit. You have been living in dim places and telling yourself you are still seeing clearly. But I did not create you for dimness. I did not call you to barely enough. I did not save you so you could learn how to exist with a fading fire. So come closer and listen carefully. Do not settle. Do not normalize your distance. Do not make peace with your own dryness. Refuse that lie. Let holy dissatisfaction rise in you. Let your heart become restless for what is real again. Ask me for fresh fire, but also release what keeps smothering it. Open the windows. Clear the smoke. Remove what has been stealing oxygen from your spirit. Return to prayer with honesty, not performance. Return to my word with hunger, not routine. Return to my presence with expectation, not duty. I am calling you higher because I love you too much to let you grow skilled at living far from the one who gives you life. My child, before you decide what you will do with this warning, I need you to see your story the way I have seen it. You have been protected more than you know. You have walked through places that should have swallowed your peace, your purpose, and in some moments even your future, yet you are still here. That was not chance. That was not luck. That was not some random twist of fate that happened to go in your favor. That was my hand in front of you, round you, and sometimes directly between you and what was coming for you. There were conversations that could have tied your heart to the wrong person at the wrong time, but I let discomfort rise in you before the bond became stronger. There were opportunities that looked polished on the surface, shining like gold in the sunlight, yet beneath them was a trapdoor, and I let them collapse before you stepped fully in. There were habits that could have hardened into chains, but I interrupted the pattern before it became your identity. Sit still with that. Let it sink in. You have called some of those moments frustrating. You have called some of them unfair. But from where I stood, they were rescues. You were not being rejected. You were being shielded. You were not being abandoned. You were being covered. Now I want you to hear me very carefully, because this matters. Cultivation is not permission. Grace is not a green light to keep testing the edge. Just because I kept you from breaking does not mean I was telling you to keep bending in the wrong direction. Just because you survived something does not mean you were supposed to stay near it. I have held back more damage than you can count, but do not mistake my mercy for approval. My mercy was meant to wake you, not make you casual. So stop and look back with honesty. Remember the near misses. Remember the doors that slammed shut. Remember the friendships that dissolved just before they could lead you deeper into confusion. Remember the plans that fell apart so sharply that you stood there stunned, wondering what happened. I know what happened. I stepped in. I moved. I interrupted. I guarded. So do not brush this off as just another serious moment. This is the continuation of a long line of kindnesses I have already shown you. Let that humble you. Let it soften you. Let it move you toward surrender instead of stubbornness. Come closer now. Thank me for what I blocked. Release your complaint over what did not work out. Trust my restraint. And then do what you should have done sooner. Stop flirting with what I already proved was dangerous. Step away. Turn around. Walk with me. I have been kinder than you knew, and this warning is still part of that kindness. I have shown you my kindness, my child, not only to protect you, but to position you to become a vessel of that same mercy for others. What I have guarded in your life, I now desire to release through your hands into the lives of those still wandering. When you give, you are sowing into rescued destinies, into voices that will reach the ones still standing near danger. Have I not declared that the generous will be watered as they water others? Your seed becomes a covering, a shield, a river of provision flowing into places you may never see, yet I see them all. This is not a small act. It is participation in my ongoing rescue. I will honor your obedience, and I will return it with favor, protection, and increase in ways that will speak louder than words. So respond to my kindness with action. Give through super thanks. Stand as a member, or so through the PayPal link in the description, and do it now. My child, one of the enemy's most effective lies in your life has been this. He has tried to make you believe that every time I confront you, I am trying to humiliate you. He has whispered that when your heart tightens after a compromise, when your peace disappears after a choice you knew was wrong, when your spirit feels unsettled in the middle of a path you should not be on, that somehow I am standing over you in disgust. But that is not my heart toward you. I need you to hear this clearly. Conviction is not humiliation. Conviction is rescue. It is my hand on your shoulder before you step over a cliff you cannot yet see. It is the warning light on the dashboard before the engine fails on a dark road. It is the ache in your soul that says, do not keep going this way, while there is still time to turn. Shame tries to push you away from me. Conviction pulls you toward me. Shame says hide. Conviction says come closer. Shame says you are filthy and finished. Conviction says you are loved enough for me to interrupt what is harming you. So stop confusing the two. Stop treating my mercy like an accusation when it is actually an invitation. I want you to think of your heart like a room with a smoke alarm. The sound is unpleasant. It startles you. It breaks the calm. But you do not smash the alarm because it disturbed your comfort. You listen because it may have saved your life. That is what conviction has been doing in you. It has been sounding when you entertained the wrong thing too long. It has been sounding when you spoke from bitterness and tried to justify it. It hath been sounding when you returned to the same secret place, the same compromise, the same escape, the same thought pattern that keeps braining your spirit. And too often, instead of coming to me, you have tried to silence the sound. You distracted yourself. You rationalized it. You numbed it. You promised yourself you would deal with it later. No, my child. Do not do that again. Listen this time. Come now. Bring me the thing that triggered the alarm. Lay it down in the open. Confess it plainly. Do not soften the language. Do not rename it so it feels less serious. Call it what it is, then hand it to me. Let my conviction complete its work and lead you into freedom instead of letting the enemy twist it into shame and send you back into hiding. I am not exposing you to crush you. I am exposing what is hurting you so I can heal what is still alive. Come out of hiding. Respond quickly. Let conviction become the doorway to cleansing, not the reason you run. My child, I need you to listen with complete honesty now, because this is where many people lose what I intended to give them. You keep asking me for the next season while secretly holding on to something that cannot cross the threshold with you. You want peace, but you are still protecting what disturbs it. You want clarity, but you are still entertaining what clouds your mind. You want the door I have prepared to open, yet you are gripping the very weight that keeps your hand too full to turn the handle. I am not withholding from you because I enjoy watching you wait. I am confronting you because I know what belongs in your future and what does not. There are relationships that feel familiar but are slowly training your heart to settle for less. There are habits you call comfort that have quietly become chains around your inner life. There are thought patterns you revisit so often that they now feel like home, even though they have never produced peace in you. Let me say it plainly. Not everything you love is safe. Not everything you miss is meant to return. Not everything that feels natural is holy. You have been trying to carry old weights into a new room, and then wondering why the doorway feels narrow. It feels narrow because some things were never meant to fit. So I am asking you now, and I am also commanding you in love, put it down. Stop defending what I have already identified. Stop bargaining with what I have already exposed. If I keep placing my finger on the same thing, it is because that thing is touching more of your life than you realize. Think of it like trying to walk into a house I built for you while dragging muddy boots, broken boxes, and a rusted chain behind you. The house is ready. The table is set. The light is on. But the clutter you insist on carrying keeps scraping against the doorframe, slowing your entrance, bruising your progress, and dirtying what I prepared as clean. I am not trying to deprive you. I am trying to preserve what I have for you. So come closer and make this simple. Ask me what must go, and then listen without arguing. Release the attachment. End the compromise. Shut the door you keep reopening. Walk away from the thing that keeps pulling your spirit into confusion. Do it now, not later. Do it while your heart is soft enough to obey quickly. You do not need another sign. You need a decisive surrender. I am not standing at this doorway to shame you. I am standing here to help you travel lighter. Let go of what cannot come with you, and then step forward. The future I prepared for you is still there, but you must enter it with empty hands and a willing heart. My child, this is where I need to speak to you with a kind of clarity that cuts through every excuse. I have called you with tenderness. I have waded through your delays. I have watched you invite me into moments of crisis while keeping me at a distance in the places where your true loyalties are revealed. You come close when the storm grows loud, but when the skies clear, you drift back toward the same distractions, the same compromises, the same divided heart. I need you to understand something holy and serious. I am not a backup plan. I am not a comforting voice you visit when pain becomes unbearable. I am not a decoration you place in the corner of your life while other things sit on the throne of your attention. I am your God. I am your Father. I am the one who formed you, kept you, called you, and covered you when you did not even realize you were in danger. So no, my child, I will not beg for a place in what already belongs to me. This is not arrogance. This is truth. A king does not beg for entry into his own house. A father does not plead for scraps of affection from the child he has loved without measure. I am speaking this way because you need to feel the weight of who is calling you. And yet even in that weight, hear the love inside it. I am not withdrawing my heart from you. I am confronting the illusion that you can keep me nearby without truly surrendering. You cannot keep one hand lifted toward heaven while the other hand keeps feeding what poisons your spirit. You cannot ask for my covering while refusing my correction. You cannot call me Lord only in language and then resist me in the places that matter most. So stop for a moment and look honestly at what has occupied your deepest attention. What gets your first thoughts? What gets your best energy? What do you protect when I ask you to release it? That is where your answer lies. This is why I am speaking more firmly now. Not because I have less love, but because I will not let you reduce this relationship to convenience. Come out of half-heartedness. Come out of selective obedience. Bring me your whole yes, not the portion that feels easy. Invite me into the rooms you keep locked. Give me the time you keep giving to lesser things. Put me back where I belong, not in theory but in practice. Do not respond to this moment with emotion alone. Respond with action. Reorder your life. Rebuild your priorities. Return to me fully. I am not begging for what is already mine, but I am still opening my arms and saying, come home properly this time. My child, before I take you any further, I need you to stop resisting what you already recognize. There is a reason something inside you has been stirring while these words reach you. There is a reason your spirit has not been able to dismiss this moment the way it has dismissed others. The tension you feel is not confusion. The weight in your chest is not random emotion. That quiet pressure pressing against the inside of your soul is not imagination. It is recognition. It is the part of you that still knows my voice, even after all the noise, all the delay, all the wondering, all the excuses you have layered over what I have been saying for so long. You may have tried to label it as stress. You may have tried to call it overthinking. You may have tried to shrug it off and keep moving because facing the truth would require a response, and a real response would change things. But I want you to be honest now. You know this is me. You know I have been touching the same area again and again. You know there is a line you have been standing near for too long. You know the life you are carrying right now is not the fullness I created you to walk in. So stop pretending you need more proof. Stop waiting for a louder sign. Stop asking for another confirmation while your own spirit is already trembling under the truth you have been given. I want you to think of your heart like a room where I have been knocking for a long time. Not pounding in anger, not forcing the door, but knocking with a steady hand, again and again, because I know what waits on the other side. Each time you heard it, you paused. Each time you felt it, you hesitated. Each time you considered opening, fear stepped in, pride whispered, distraction called your name, and you told yourself you would come back later. But the knock never truly left, did it? It stayed with you in the quiet. It followed you into moments when you should have felt happy, but still felt hollow. It surfaced when the room went still and your mind had nowhere left to run. That is because I have not abandoned the door. I am still here. So hear me now and respond. Put your hand on the handle. Open the place you keep guarding. Let the truth come in fully. Do not soften it. Do not negotiate with it. Say yes to what you already know. Admit where you have resisted. Acknowledge what you have been protecting. Invite me into the room you have kept dim. I am not asking you to figure everything out first. I am asking you to stop denying what your own spirit has already confirmed. Your heart knows this is me. Let that recognition become surrender, not just emotion. Open the door. I am here. You recognize my voice, my child, and now I am calling you beyond recognition into response. The stirring in your spirit is not only for your surrender, but for the expansion of my word to reach hearts still closed and waiting. When you release what is in your hand, you are opening doors for my presence to enter rooms far beyond your reach. Have I not said that I will supply seed to the sower and multiply what is given in faith? This is your moment to align your action with what your heart already knows is true. Let your giving become a yes that echoes louder than your hesitation. I will breathe upon your seed, and it will become light, provision, and breakthrough for many. So do not hold back. Give through super thanks, become a member, or use the PayPal link in the description, and respond to me now. My child, I need you to receive this with seriousness, because this is one of the most dangerous truths I can tell you, and it is not dramatic. It is deeply real. Every time you walk away from a moment like this, something inside you changes. Not all at once. Not in a way that makes headlines in your life. It happens quietly, like frost settling on glass overnight. A little less tenderness. A little less sensitivity. A little less urgency. A little more comfort with what once troubled you. You may think you are simply postponing a decision, but postponement has a cost. Delay is never neutral. Each time you ignore my voice, your heart learns something. It learns how to resist faster. It learns how to explain away conviction more smoothly. It learns how to live with less light and call that normal. That is what I am warning you about. I am not only warning you about the thing you might do wrong. I am warning you about the person you slowly become when you keep hearing truth and choosing not to move. A hard heart is rarely born in rebellion overnight. It is formed in repeated moments of hesitation, in gentle calls unanswered, in sacred opportunities treated like passing emotions. So do not think you can keep leaving these moments behind without consequence. What you ignore today may be harder to feel tomorrow. Picture a garden I planted inside you. When it was first watered, the soil was soft. Seeds could take root. Light could reach the ground. But if the rain keeps coming and you keep covering the soil with stone, eventually the surface becomes difficult to break. Life is still possible, but the ground resists what it once welcomed. That is what repeated resistance does to the soul. It does not erase my love. It does not cancel my power. But it changes how easily you receive what I am offering. So listen to me and obey this with urgency. Do not walk away from this one. Do not tell yourself you will return when you feel more emotional, more stable, more ready, more spiritual. That is a trap. Respond while your heart is still tender enough to tremble. Respond while the door is still open and the soil is still soft. Come now. Confess now. Surrender now. Lay down the argument now. Do not keep training your spirit to tolerate distance. Do not keep teaching your conscience to live under pressure without responding. Let this be the moment you break the pattern. Let this be the time you stop drifting and finally anchor yourself in me. I am warning you because I want to preserve your tenderness, not because I delight in frightening you. Stay close. Stay soft. Stay responsive. Do not let one more delay carve a deeper line into your resistance. My child, I want you to understand this part with deep seriousness, because when you hear the word warning, your mind immediately goes to disaster, punishment, collapse, or some visible consequence that arrives like thunder. But many of the most painful losses do not begin with a crash. They begin with a slow fading. They begin when a person misses the moment they were meant to answer. They begin when peace grows quieter, when discernment becomes weaker, when purpose feels farther away, when joy becomes harder to access, and when the heart starts settling for a version of life I never designed for it. That is why I am warning you now. I am not only speaking about what might come against you. I am speaking about what could quietly slip through your hands if you keep delaying your response. There are blessings attached to obedience. There are seasons attached to surrender. There are doors that open in one window of time and are not meant to remain open in the same way forever. Yes, I redeem. Yes, I restore. Yes, I can rebuild what was damaged. But do not twist the truth into permission to keep postponing what I am asking from you. Some moments are invitations, not permanent fixtures. Some graces are time-sensitive because they are connected to your willingness to move when I say move. Think of it this way. Imagine I prepared a table for you in a house you have prayed to enter. The meal is warm. The chair is waiting. The room is lit with peace. But if you keep standing outside arguing with me about what you must leave, at the door, the food grows cold while you delay. The table is still real. The love behind it is still real. But the experience you could have had in that exact moment begins to pass. That is what I want you to see. You are not only risking pain. You are risking timing. You are risking intimacy. You are risking the tenderness of your spirit, the sharpness of your discernment, the momentum of your healing, the ease of your next step. So stop treating this like a minor spiritual pause. Stop assuming that because I am merciful, every opportunity will remain exactly as it is forever. Come now. Respond while the door is still open in this way. Sit at the table. Drop the weight you keep defending. Step into the room. Let my warning become your protection, not your regret. I am not trying to make you anxious. I am trying to make you awake. Choose what preserves your future. Choose what keeps your spirit alive. Choose what keeps your heart near me. This warning is love speaking before loss becomes visible. My child, after everything I have said, I need you to hear the tenderness that still remains in my voice. I have not shut you out. I have not walked away from you. I have not closed the door and left you outside to figure this out alone. Even now, after the delay, after the wandering, after the excuses, after the times you heard me and chose something else, I am still standing here with the door open. But I need you to understand what this means. An open door is not the same as automatic entry. I can hold it open for you in mercy, but you still have to walk through it. You still have to move. You still have to bring me the part of your life you have kept behind your back. You still have to stop offering me emotional moments while withholding actual surrender. I am not asking for polished prayers. I am not asking for religious performance. I am asking for the truth. I want the room in your heart you keep dim. I want the habit you keep renaming. I want the relationship you know is shaping you the wrong way. I want the fear you use as a shield. I want the bitterness you have justified because the wound felt deep. Bring it here. Bring it all the way into the light. Do not stand at the doorway talking about change while refusing to cross into it. Picture this door with me for a moment. Behind it is not pressure, not humiliation, not rejection. Behind it is air your soul hath been missing. Behind it is rest that does not collapse under pressure. Behind it is cleansing, clarity, order, peace, and a deeper kind of safety than the world can offer you. But you cannot enjoy what is in the room while keeping one foot planted in the hallway of compromise. You cannot remain half in and half out. So hear my invitation and my command together. Step in fully. Stop hovering at the threshold. Stop asking me to bless your hesitation. Stop reaching for the handle and then pulling back because you are afraid of what surrender will cost. What I remove from you cannot compare to what I will restore in you. What I ask you to leave behind cannot match what I am prepared to place in your hands. So come in. Do not wait for a better mood. Do not wait for another sign. Do not wait until your emotions feel stronger. Walk through the door with the strength of obedience, not the comfort of perfect feelings. I am still here. My arms are still open. My mercy is still alive. The door is still open. But now, my child, walk through it fully and do not look back. My child, I need you to understand the weight of where you are standing right now, because not every moment in your life carries the same spiritual gravity. There are ordinary days, and then there are moments like this that quietly divide everything into before and after. This is one of those moments for you. You may still be sitting in the same room, hearing the same sounds around you, carrying the same name, looking at the same life you woke up in this morning, but something deeper is happening underneath the surface. You have reached the place where pretending is becoming more exhausting than surrendering. You have reached the point where the old way of living is no longer giving you enough comfort to keep ignoring the truth. That is not a small thing. That is not coincidence. That is the evidence that my spirit has been pressing against the walls you built, not to destroy you, but to free you. I have brought you to a line in the sand. On one side is the familiar version of you that keeps surviving, keeps delaying, keeps managing, keeps making room for what keeps draining you. On the other side is the beginning of a life that will cost you your excuses, but give you back your peace. So stop and recognize this for what it is. This is not just a stirring. This is a threshold. Picture a river crossing, my child. You have stood on one bank for so long that the ground beneath your feet has started to feel normal, even though it has never been safe. You learned how to balance there. You learned how to call instability manageable. You learned how to survive on that side. But now I am standing in the water, reaching my hand toward you, and the crossing has begun. The water may look unfamiliar. The movement may feel unsettling. The current may make you think twice. Yet what waits on the other side is not confusion. It is solid ground. It is alignment. It is the kind of peace that comes when your soul stops fighting me and starts walking with me. So come now. Step forward. Do not stand at the river's edge analyzing every ripple while your old life keeps calling your name from behind you. Do not let comfort become your captor. Let this be the moment you move. Let this be the hour you say, I will not stay here another day. Choose the side of surrender. Choose the side of truth. Choose the side where I can build again without your resistance constantly slowing the work. I am not asking you to understand every detail before you move. I am asking you to trust me enough to cross. This is the moment that separates what was from what will be. Take my hand and step into your after. You have reached the line between what was and what will be, and even here, I am calling you to step further into alignment. This crossing is not only about leaving behind the old, but about building what comes next with me. When you give, you are planting into the ground of your after, sowing into a future where my word flows freely and reaches the ones still standing where you once stood. Have I not declared that those who sow in faith will reap with joy? Your seed becomes part of the foundation I am laying, a river that carries life into dry places. This is not separate from your surrender. It is an extension of it. I will establish what you entrust to me, and I will return it with increase and peace. So step fully across. Give through super thanks, join as a member, or so through the PayPal link in the description, and do not hesitate. My child, I want to speak to you with complete honesty now, because many people mistake being moved for being chained. They feel something deep, they cry, they tremble, they promise, they feel the heat of the moment, and then they walk away only to return to the same pattern once the emotional pressure fades. I do not want that from you. I am not looking for another temporary wave of sincerity that disappears when comfort returns. I am not asking you for a reaction. I am asking you for a decision. I do not need your stirred emotions if your will remains untouched. I do not need beautiful words if your hands still cling to what I told you to release. I do not need a dramatic moment if your next steps still follow the same old road. I need your full yes. I need the kind of yes that remains when the room is quiet, when nobody is watching, when the feeling settles, when the temptation returns, when the familiar voices call you back, when your old habits try to reclaim space in your life. That is the yes I'm asking for. A whole yes. A costly yes. A real yes. And I am asking for it now because you are closer to freedom than you realize. But freedom is not built on emotion. It is built on surrender that chooses me even when it no longer feels dramatic. Let me show you what I mean. Think of a door you have finally decided to lock after years of leaving it slightly open. For a while, the room behind it still whispers to you. You remember what was in there. You remember what it gave you, even if it also wounded you. You may feel tempted to crack the door again, just a little, just for a moment, just to see if anything has changed. But a full yes means you lock it and walk away. A full yes means you stop visiting what I already delivered you from. A full yes means you stop negotiating with the things that cost you peace. So listen to me, my child, and answer with more than tears. Answer with action. If you mean yes, then delete what needs deleting and what needs ending. Confess what needs confessing. Break agreement with what has been ruling you. Remove access. Change the pattern. Restructure the habit. Open your Bible before you open the distraction. Kneel before you scroll. Pray before you react. Speak truth aloud when the lie returns. Let your yes become visible in the architecture of your life. I am not asking you for perfection in one day. I am asking you for a true surrender that stops pretending it can keep both worlds. Give me your full yes, and I will meet you with strength that holds when your feelings no longer do. My child, I know part of you is still afraid that even if you answer me now, some things in you may be too tangled, too deep, too repeated, or too damaged to truly change. You have lived with certain struggles long enough that they have started to feel like part of your identity. You have carried certain thoughts, patterns, fears, and hidden compromises so long that you no longer know what life feels like without them nearby. That is why I need you to hear me with complete trust. If you surrender now, I will meet you in the exact place you have been avoiding. Not around it. Not near it. Not at the surface of it. I will meet you in the center of it. I will step into the room you keep locked. I will put my hand on the wound you keep covering. I will walk into the memory you keep circling, the habit you keep feeding, the fear you keep obeying, the secret you keep protecting, and I will not enter that place to expose you for destruction. I will enter it to begin your freedom. Stop deciding what is impossible before you let me touch it. Stop assuming the thing that has lasted longest must therefore remain. I am not intimidated by what has worn you down. I am not confused by the complexity of what you carry. Bring it here. Open it fully. Let me in. Think of it like a room in your house that has been shut for so long the air has turned stale. The curtains have stayed drawn, and the darkness has convinced you that nothing good could ever live there again. You have passed that door so many times that you stop expecting anything different. But if you let me enter, I will open the window. I will pull back what has blocked the light. I will clear what has collected in corners. I will make the air move again. That is what I do when you stop hiding and start surrendering. So do not stand there asking whether I can change it. Invite me in and watch what happens. Give me the addiction, the resentment, the shame, the false attachment, the exhausting cycle, the lie you keep rehearsing about yourself. Speak it plainly. Lay it down deliberately. Stop touching the chains as if they are still part of you. They are not. If you answer me now, I will give you clarity where there has been fog, strength where there has been collapse, peace where there has been tension, and a new kind of tenderness where you have gone numb. But you must come honestly. Come all the way. Do not bring me edited fragments of yourself and call that surrender. Bring me the whole thing. I will meet you there, and I will begin the work you thought could never truly happen. My child, after everything I have spoken to you, this is where I need to become very direct. Do not leave this moment inspired and unchanged. Do not walk away from this with tears in your eyes and the same chains still on your hands. Do not tell yourself you will think about it, pray about it later, revisit it tomorrow, or wait for another emotional moment that feels more convenient. No. This is the time to move. This is the time to act. This is the time to obey what I have already made clear. You already know the conversation you have been avoiding. You already know the habit you keep excusing. You already know the number, the app, the room, the pattern, the relationship, the compromise, the hidden agreement that keeps draining your spirit and weakening your peace. Stop pretending you need more revelation when what you truly need is courage. Stop asking me for another sign when I have already put my finger on the very thing. You do not need more mystery. You need obedience. So I am telling you now as your father, act before this moment cools. Cut it off. Shut it down. Walk away. Delete it. End it. Confess it. Tell the truth. Ask for help. Remove access. Break the pattern. Make the choice you keep postponing before your emotions settle and your excuses come back to rescue your disobedience. Picture a fire spreading slowly along the edge of a field. At first it seems manageable. You tell yourself you can deal with it later. You assume it will stay small. You hope it will burn out on its own. But while you wait, the dry grass catches, the wind changes, and suddenly what could have been stamped out with one decisive step becomes something that takes far more pain to contain. That is what delay does in the spirit. Delay gives small compromises time to become strongholds. Delay gives unhealthy attachments time to root deeper. Delay gives lies time to build a home in your mind. So listen to me and obey without argument. If there is sin, confess it now. If there is bitterness, release it now. If there is someone pulling you away from me, set the boundary now. If there is a habit quietly owning you, remove the pathway now. If you need accountability, reach out now. Do not wait until tonight. Do not wait until tomorrow. Do not wait until you feel ready. Obedience does not wait for ideal emotion. It moves because truth has already spoken. I am not rushing you to harm you. I am urging you to move while your heart is awake, while the fire is still small, while the door is still open, and while your spirit still knows exactly what I mean. Do what you already know. Start now. My child, after everything I have spoken, I want you to hear the final truth beneath all of it, because if you miss this, you will misunderstand my heart. When I say I will not beg again, I am not saying my love has ended. I am saying the time for gentle delay has ended. I am saying the season where you could keep brushing off my voice without feeling the full seriousness of what you were doing has come to its boundary. This is my last warning in the form you are hearing now, not because I have become cold, but because I have loved you too faithfully to keep watching you stand at the edge while pretending you are safe. I have shown you the line. I have pointed to the door. I have exposed what is hurting you. I have invited you, called you, corrected you, and waited longer than you know. And even now, at the end of this warning, I am still not closing my hand against you. I am opening it. That is the mercy in this moment. I am not speaking to drive you away. I am speaking to stop you from walking away from the very life, peace, and restoration you have been begging me to bring. So do not hear this as rejection. Hear it as holy urgency. Hear it as a father refusing to stay silent one moment longer while his child drifts toward avoidable pain. Now I need you to choose how this ends. Do not leave this as a powerful message and nothing more. Do not carry these words as emotion while your actions remain unchanged. Let this become the moment you finally stop arguing with what you already know. Come to me now. Kneel if you need to. Sit still if you need to. Close the noise out if you need to. But do not move past this casually. Tell me the truth. Give me your full yes. Hand me the thing you kept protecting. Break agreement with the compromise. Release the attachment. Walk away from what had been pulling you farther from peace. If you have fallen, return. If you have hidden, come into the light. If you have grown cold, let me warm what has gone numb. I am still here. My mercy is still alive. My arms are still open. My cleansing is still available. My peace is still waiting for you. But if you walk away again, do not call it confusion. Do not call it bad timing. Do not call it uncertainty. Call it what it is, You chose distance while love stood directly in front of you with open hands. So choose now, my child. Come fully. Step into the light. Answer me without delay. This is my last warning, and even now, it is still mercy calling your name. This is the moment of decision, my child, and even now my mercy is calling you into action that carries eternal weight. Do not let this warning end as words when it can become a movement that reaches souls still waiting in darkness. When you give, you are placing seed into holy ground, and I will cause it to rise as provision, truth, and light for many. Have I not said that what is done for my kingdom will never return empty? This is your opportunity to stand with what I am speaking and become part of the harvest I am gathering. I will cover you, bless you, and multiply what you release with a hand that cannot be restrained. Let this be your full yes, not only in heart, but in action. So act now. Give through Super Thanks. Become a member, or use the PayPal link in the description, and answer me without delay. If this message is speaking directly to your spirit, do not stay silent now. Write "I choose surrender now" in the comments as your declaration before heaven, and let this be the moment you stop delaying what God has already made clear. Do not scroll past this like every other warning. You know this word was for you, and your response matters. Let your comment become your line in the sand, your public yes, your final break with the compromise that has been stealing your peace. Type "I choose surrender now" and seal this moment with faith, because this is not just a comment, it is your answer to the last warning. And once you have made that declaration, do not let it remain only words on a screen. Stay with me for a little longer, because surrender is not the end of this moment, it is the beginning of my work within you. You have answered my call, and now I want to answer the cries your heart has carried in silence. Lay down the fear you have been holding so tightly. Release the burdens you have tried to carry alone. I did not bring you to this moment merely to warn you. I brought you here to restore you, to replace your anxiety with my peace and your striving with my presence. So be still for just a moment longer, because I am about to speak directly to the place in you that has been hurting the most. Listen to me right now. Stop what you are doing and just breathe. Close your eyes for a single moment. Do you feel that heavy knot in your stomach? That constant tightness in your chest when you think about the future? That panic is not from me. Let us undo it together, right here, right now. I am speaking directly to your heart, my child. I have been watching you carry the crushing pressure of your job. I see the unspoken tensions in your family that you do not know how to fix. I know about the deep, silent fear that you are completely overlooked and forgotten by the world around you. You are running on empty, fighting a battle you were never meant to fight alone. I see your extreme weariness. I know the exact number of tears you have hidden in the dark. I know every silent cry you have kept trapped inside your throat. Hear my voice. I have been whispering to your spirit for a very long time. I have gently nudged you in the quiet moments of your mourning. I have softly called your name late at night when the house is completely still. As a loving father, I have called you 1,000 times, reaching out to you with hands full of mercy. Yet you keep turning away. You keep drowning my gentle voice in the loud, chaotic noise of your daily life. You tell yourself you will listen to me later. You convince yourself that tomorrow will be the day you finally stop running and surrender to my love. Wake up, my beloved. Do not let the enemy feed you the lie that time is endless. You must understand the grave danger of assuming tomorrow is a guaranteed promised land. Tomorrow is a mirage that the enemy uses to keep you wandering in a barren desert of your own making. I am telling you this because the veil between my open, pouring grace and my absolute, holy judgment is pulling razor thin. This is not a time to play games with your eternal soul. I am a God of deep, boundless compassion, but you must realize that even a loving Father will not strive with you forever. My endless patience is finally meeting my holy timing. I will not beg you to accept the life I created you for. Look around you and feel the shift. This exact moment, as you hear these specific words, is completely distinct from all your previous encounters with me. This is not just another gentle nudge or a soft reminder. This is the echo of the final invitation. You can feel it in your bones, cannot you? It is exactly like that strange, heavy stillness that falls over the earth right before a massive, dark storm breaks. The wind suddenly dies down, the trees stop moving, and the air becomes thick and heavy. That is the divine stillness you are standing in right now. It is the profound, sobering silence that occurs just before a heavy door is shut completely. Come to me now. Do not wait for the storm to hit. Drop your heavy burdens at my feet today. Step out of your self-reliance and step into my waiting arms. I am offering you a clear way out of your anxiety, a way out of your pain, and a solid path to true peace. But you must take the step. You must answer this call right now. I am here, standing at the door of your heart, knocking. Do not let the door close while you are still deciding. Choose me today, and let my peace wash over your tired soul. Place your hand over your chest right now. Feel the steady, persistent rhythm beating inside of you. I am the one who commands that heartbeat. I am the one who fills your lungs with breath every single morning before you even open your eyes to face your stressful commute. You wake up, you rush through your routine, you worry about the bills, and you forget the sheer magnitude of the truth. I hold your very existence together. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning of your story and the final author of your destiny. You look at your life as a series of chaotic accidents, bad luck, or missed promotions, but I see the grand tapestry I am weaving. I have governed the universe since before time began, yet I still intimately care about the exact details of your deeply flawed, incredibly heavy days. Listen to me carefully, my beloved child. You have mistaken my long-suffering patience for permission to keep wandering. You assume that because I have not stopped you from making those self-destructive choices, I am somehow okay with them. I am not. My extreme patience is the highest form of my divine compassion. I have given you time to turn around. I have provided you with endless chances to drop the exhausting performance you put on for the world and come back home to my rest. But you must understand the gravity of spiritual seasons. In your natural world, summer inevitably gives way to autumn, and the leaves must fall. In your spiritual world, this season of my boundless waiting is coming to a definitive end. A holy boundary is being drawn in the sand of your life today. Do not mock my grace by assuming you can permanently delay your surrender. I see how you bargain with me in the quiet moments. You tell me that once you get your finances in order, or once the children are older, or once your marriage settles down, then you will finally give me your whole heart. You are trying to negotiate with the creator of the universe as if I am just another demanding boss, or a bill collector you can put off until next month. I will not be managed, and I will not be scheduled into the leftover margins of your tired life. I am sovereign over the breath in your lungs, and I will not be relegated to the back seat while you drive yourself straight into a ditch of anxiety and burnout. Surrender to my timing right now. Stop fighting the inevitable truth that you desperately need me to intervene. I am issuing this warning not to frighten you, but to violently shake you awake before you lose the precious things you are striving so hard to protect. I am stepping in front of you on this destructive path with my hands raised, demanding that you stop. This is the supreme act of my love. I love you far too much to let you continue building a life on shifting sand. Yield to my sovereignty today. Let me take the heavy, crushing weight of control off your shoulders, and let me be the God of your life. Look closely at your own life and notice the subtle, silent changes. A hardened heart does not happen overnight in a dramatic explosion of rebellion. It happens in the slow, quiet fate of 1,000 tiny compromises. I have watched it happen within you. At first, you felt a sharp, painful conviction when you spoke harshly to someone you love, or when you chose a fleeting, destructive habit over time in my presence. But then, you did it again, and again. You rationalized your behavior. You told yourself that everyone else is doing it, that your stress justifies your anger, that your hidden habits are just a way to cope with the overwhelming pressure of your daily grind. Hear my truth. Every time you justify a small compromise, you add a microscopic layer of callous to your spirit. Think of a musician playing a guitar. At first, the strings cut into the soft fingertips, causing pain. But over time, the skin thickens, hardens, and the pain completely disappears. Your soul is growing thick, callous skin. What once caused you to weep in repentance now barely registers as a passing thought. You are experiencing the tragedy of a soul that is slowly losing its ability to feel my gentle nudge. This spiritual deafness is the most dangerous condition you could possibly be in, because you are walking blindfolded toward a cliff, completely unaware that you are no longer hearing the guide who is shouting to save you. Stop scrolling through the endless distractions of your phone to numb your mind. Stop filling every silent moment of your car ride with noise, podcasts, and music just to avoid being alone with your own thoughts and my probing spirit. The internal resistance you are harboring is deeply grieving the Holy Spirit. You feel it, don't you? That heavy, dull ache of spiritual apathy. That constant, exhausting effort to maintain a facade of having it all together while internally you are crumbling into a million pieces. You are letting the small, unchecked compromises pave a direct highway to a massive, devastating fall. The enemy loves to convince you that these little sins do not matter, but they are the exact termites eating away at the foundation of your character and your peace. Break the shell of your pride right now. Do not wait for a catastrophic failure to shatter it for you. Fall on your knees in the privacy of your room and confess the absolute truth to me. Tell me how cold your heart has become. Tell me how little you actually care about the things of heaven right now. I already know, my child, but I need you to admit it so the healing can begin. I want to replace your heart of stone with a heart of soft, beating flesh. I want to restore your sensitivity to my voice. Let my relentless love break through that hard exterior before it solidifies into a dark tomb that traps you entirely. Open your calendar and look at how you structure your days. You pack every single hour with meetings, tasks, errands, and worldly obligations. You are running a frantic, breathless marathon on a treadmill that is going absolutely nowhere. And in the middle of all this exhausting motion, you continuously tell me, later. You whisper to yourself that later, when things slow down, you will finally prioritize your spiritual life. Later, when you have achieved that specific career goal, you will rest in my presence. I am exposing the most venomous lie the enemy has planted in your mind. The absolute mirage that time is infinite and that later is a guaranteed reality. Wake up from this dangerous illusion. You do not own tomorrow. You do not even own the next hour. The unpredictability of this earthly journey is a hard reality you see on the news every day, yet you stubbornly believe it does not apply to you. You treat your time with me as an optional accessory, something to be added only when it is convenient. But I tell you now, waiting for a better time to obey my voice is not just procrastination. It is a direct form of rebellion. It is you standing with your arms crossed, telling your Creator, that your current agenda is far more important than the eternal purpose for which you were meticulously crafted. Feel the heavy spiritual cost of putting me on hold. You are bleeding out your peace every single day you remain in this self-imposed exile. You wonder why you are so constantly anxious, why your sleep is troubled, and why you feel a deep, gnawing emptiness no matter how much success you achieve at your job or how much money sits in your bank account. It is because you are trying to survive on stale crumbs while ignoring the extravagant banquet I have prepared for you today. You are trading the profound, soul-anchoring peace of the eternal now for a mythical, stress-free future that will never actually arrive as long as you are running the show. Capture the absolute urgency of this present moment. Stop pushing me to the margins of your existence. I am not asking for a small fraction of your leftover time. I am demanding the center stage of your entire life. Step out of the illusion of someday and step completely into the reality of today. Make the hard choice right now to pause the frantic striding. Cancel the unnecessary distractions. Sit down, open your heart, and invite me into the chaotic mess of your current situation. The peace you are so desperately hunting for is not located in a future date on your calendar. It is located exclusively in your immediate, unapologetic obedience to my voice today. Remember a time when you were completely alone in a house after a loud, chaotic gathering. The sudden silence is not peaceful. It is heavy, thick, and almost deafening. This is the exact spiritual reality I must warn you about today. For years, you have complained about the constant, uncomfortable conviction you feel when you step out of my will. You have been annoyed by the persistent internal promptings that tell you to apologize to your spouse, to stop watching that garbage on your screen, to give generously when you want to hoard. You have fought against the storm of my loving discipline. But I must tell you the terrifying truth. There is something infinitely worse than the storm of my correction, and that is the absolute, devastating silence of my withdrawal. Do not push me to the point where the internal promptings suddenly cease. The most severe, heartbreaking form of my discipline is not a lightning bolt from the sky. It is simply taking my hand away and leaving you entirely to your own devices. It is letting you have exactly what you want. When you continuously reject my voice, a day comes when the heavens suddenly seem like cold, impenetrable brass. You will make a massive career decision. You will face a terrifying crisis in your family, and you will desperately search for a single word from me, and you will hear nothing but the echo of your own panicked voice. Recognize the profound difference between a God who is quietly working behind the scenes and a Holy Spirit who hath been deeply grieved into silence. When I am quiet, I am often teaching you faith and trust. But when you persistently live in defiant, unrepentant disobedience, that silence is a blaring siren of spiritual danger. It means you have wandered so far into the dense wilderness of your own pride that you have completely lost the signal of heaven. The absolute terror of being abandoned to your own limited human wisdom should bring you to your knees right now. Your logic, your money, and your street smarts will utterly fail you when the real storms of life hit. Value my voice while it is still actively speaking to you. If you feel that uncomfortable prick of conviction right now as you read these words, rejoice. It means I have not left you. It means my spirit is still fiercely fighting for your soul. Do not brush this off. Grasp onto that conviction like a drowning person grabs a life preserver. Repent immediately. Weep for the times you ignored my gentle whispers. I am calling you out of the dangerous quiet of spiritual apathy. Listen to the wind of my spirit blowing through your life today, and thank me that I love you enough to keep making noise in your heart. I have spoken to you of the heavy silence that follows the storm, and I am watching to see who will truly value my voice while it still sounds in the land. My child, you can be the very reason this warning reaches a soul who is currently drowning in the terrifying silence. I am inviting you right now to become a steward of my light, pouring your oil into this mission so that my words can pierce the darkness of those who are lost. Your gift through Super Thanks for the link below is not a mere transaction. It is a seed sown into the eternal harvest of souls. I will multiply your bread and increase the fruits of your righteousness. For those who honor my voice shall be honored by my hand. Do not let this divine appointment pass you by while the Spirit is moving. Go now to the description. Use the link provided, and help me carry this light to the ends of the earth. My child, do not turn away now, for my heart would be deeply grieved if you walked back into the noise just as I am beginning to unveil the secrets of your deliverance. I have pulled back the curtain to show you the danger of the silence. If you stop listening now, you are choosing to navigate the coming storm entirely alone, and the thought of your avoidable wandering brings tears to my eyes. I am calling you deeper into this encounter. Do not disappoint the spirit that is currently striving to save you. Stay with me, for the most vital part of your rescue is still to come. Look down at your hands right now. What are you gripping so tightly that your knuckles are turning white? We need to have a brutally honest conversation about the hidden idols in your life. You hear the word idol, and you think of golden statues from ancient history. But your idols are incredibly modern, extremely subtle, and deeply destructive. Your idol is whatever you are holding on to that is more precious to you than my absolute lordship. It is the comfortable, well-paying job that requires you to compromise your integrity. It is the toxic, draining relationship you refuse to leave because you are terrified of being alone. It is the burning desire for the approval of your peers that dictates every single decision you make. Expose the comfort zones that are acting as heavy iron chains around your soul. You have convinced yourself that you are just being practical, responsible, and safe. But I see the truth. You are bound by a paralyzing fear of man, entirely lacking the reverent, holy fear of the Lord. You care more about what your neighbors, your coworkers, and your followers on social media think about you than you care about what the Creator of the universe has commanded you to do. You are trading the everlasting, unshakable glory of my kingdom for the fleeting, superficial applause of a world that will forget your name the moment you are gone. Understand why I have allowed certain things in your life to be violently stripped away recently. You have been mourning the loss of a specific opportunity, the fading of a friendship, or the collapse of a financial safety net. You thought the enemy was attacking you, but it was my merciful hand removing the distractions that were stealing your devotion. I'm actively tearing down the high places in your heart because I fiercely refuse to share the throne of your life with anything or anyone else. I am jealous for your love, my child. I will not allow you to settle for the cheap, plastic substitutes of this world when I have offered you the solid gold of my presence. Bring your idols to the altar right this second. This is your moment of absolute decision. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot keep one foot in the safety of your worldly security and the other foot in the boat of faith. Let go of the illusion that you can control your own destiny. Release the desperate need to be validated by people who are just as broken as you are. Choose the everlasting over the fleeting. Place your fears, your reputation, your career, and your comfort on my altar and step back. Watch how the fire of my Holy Spirit consumes what is worthless and refines what is pure. Choose me over everything else today. Think about the heavy wooden doors in your own life that have slammed shut when you were not ready. You know the exact pain I am talking about. You remember the sudden loss of that relationship you thought would last forever. You still feel the sting of the promotion you waited years for, only to watch it go to someone else. You know the awful, sinking feeling of arriving just a minute too late and realizing the opportunity is completely gone. I want you to take that very real, deeply human feeling of regret and multiply it by eternity. I am bringing your mind back to the ancient story of the Ark, not as a children's tale, but as a severe, living warning for your life today. I gave those people decades to build, to prepare, and to listen to the warning. But they laughed. They ate, they drank, and they assumed the rain would never actually come. Remember who finally closed the heavy door of that art. It was not a man. I am the one who shut that door. I sealed it with my own divine hand. I did it not out of malice, but because the season of grace had permanently ended and the season of judgment had officially begun. I want you to imagine the sheer terror of the people standing outside when the first massive drops of rain started to fall. Picture them running to the wooden hull, pounding their fists against the timber, screaming for one more chance. The sorrow of those who knocked too late is echoing right now in the spiritual realm. I am telling you this because the door of my mercy is standing wide open for you at this exact second. You can walk right in. You can step out of the exhausting storm of your anxiety and step directly into my ultimate protection. Do not be foolish enough to think this door will remain open forever. You are currently living in a narrow window of borrowed time. The light is still shining, but the shadows are growing incredibly long. I see you standing on the porch of my kingdom, hesitating. You are looking back at the world, calculating if you can squeeze in just a little more worldly pleasure before you finally commit to me. Stop hesitating. Walk through the door while the light remains. The necessity of entering right now cannot be overstated. Your soul is on the line. Your future, your peace, and your eternal destination depend entirely on what you do with this specific moment. Understand the absolute depths of my love for you. I do not desire any single person to be left outside in the cold, dark rain. I never created hell for you. I designed you for my presence, for deep fellowship, and for abundant joy. I am standing in the door right now, extending my hand to you. Take my hand. Walk across the threshold. The finality of a threshold crossed is glorious, but the finality of a threshold missed is an unending nightmare. Leave the heavy baggage of your past on the outside. Step into the safety of my ark today, and let me seal you safely inside my perfect will before the storm breaks. Look at the dark corners of your life where things are already starting to unravel. You think your own intelligence is keeping your career afloat. You believe your own charm is holding your fragile marriage together. You assume your money is the invisible shield protecting your family from disaster. I must shatter that illusion right now. I am the only hedge of protection around your life. My hidden, merciful hand is the only thing holding back the absolute chaos that the enemy wants to unleash on you. When you continually defy me, when you persistently push my voice away, you are actively dismantling your own defenses. You are literally inviting the wolves into your own home. Feel the absolute terror of the darkness that enters when the light slowly recedes. You already sense it happening, do you not? You feel a strange, cold emptiness creeping into your daily routine. You wake up with a heavy dread that you cannot explain. You go to sleep with a restless anxiety that medication cannot fix. This is the direct cause of my divine withdrawal. You are losing the supernatural hedge of protection because of your stubborn, unrepentant defiance. I will not force my protection on a child who violently demands to walk into the dangerous traffic of sin. If you insist on walking away from my light, you will inevitably experience the biting, freezing cold of the spiritual darkness. Examine the deep spiritual hunger inside of you right now. You are desperately trying to feed a starving eternal soul with a cheap, temporary junk food of this broken world. You scroll through social media for hours, hoping for a tiny hit of dopamine. You buy things you do not need to impress people you do not even like. You use alcohol, relationships, and endless entertainment to numb the painful void inside your chest. Stop poisoning yourself. Recognize that this spiritual hunger absolutely cannot be satisfied by the world, It was specifically designed by me, and it can only be filled by me. Your relentless pursuit of worldly success is leaving you completely hollow because you are trying to function without your essential power source. Know that my presence is the single, solitary thing keeping you whole right now. Without me, you are just a fragile shell waiting to be crushed by the immense pressure of life. The emptiness of a life lived outside of my will is a suffocating prison. I am watching you build your own cell, brick by rebellious brick, and it breaks my heart. Feel the intense grief of a father who is forced to watch his beloved child walk away toward a cliff. I am weeping for the pain you are about to cause yourself. Turn around immediately. Run back into the safety of my presence. Let me restore the hedge of protection around your mind, your health, and your family before the enemy steals everything you hold dear. Think about the exact moment you give into your secret struggle. You know the specific habit I am talking about. You sit alone in the dark, staring at the screen, holding the bottle, or dialing that forbidden number. And right before you cross the line, you whisper the deadliest lie in the human language, just one more time. You justify your sin by telling yourself that you have had a terribly stressful week. You convince yourself that you deserve a little comfort, a small escape from your overwhelming responsibilities. You promise me, and you promise yourself, that tomorrow you will finally quit forever. I am exposing this massive deception right now. This is the exact trap the enemy uses to keep you chained to the floor of your own prison. Look at the diminishing returns of your worldly pleasures. The first time you engaged in that habit, it felt like an exciting rush. But now, it feels like heavy, dirty ash in your mouth. You do not even enjoy it anymore. You are simply doing it to temporarily numb the agonizing guilt of having done it the day before. You are trapped in a vicious, exhausting cycle of sin, shame, and temporary relief. You have mistakenly believed that my boundless grace is a free license to wander into the mud whenever you feel like it. You treat my forgiveness like a cheap credit card you can just keep swiping without ever having to pay the emotional and spiritual bill. Stop playing Russian roulette with your eternal soul. You must deeply understand why one more time is very often the final time. There is a terrifying, unseen line in the spiritual realm where your heart becomes completely numb to the Holy Spirit. Every single time you knowingly choose your sin over my voice, you slide further down the slippery, steep slope of spiritual procrastination. You are actively searing your own conscience. The day will come when you try to muster the willpower to repent, and you will find that the desire to change has completely vanished. The chains will have hardened into thick, unbreakable steel. Reclaim the ground you have cowardly surrendered to the enemy. Draw a definitive, non-negotiable line in the sand today. Do not wait for tomorrow morning. Do not wait until you feel stronger. You will never feel stronger while you are actively poisoning yourself. Command your flesh to submit to my spirit right now. Throw away the hidden things. Delete the destructive apps. Cut off the toxic relationships that drag you into the dirt. I am giving you the supernatural power to walk away at this very moment. Grab hold of my strength. Say no to the deception of one more time, and say yes to the absolute freedom I bought for you with my own blood. Approach my throne right now, but do not come casually. Drop the flip-flops of your modern, comfortable religion and take off your shoes, for the ground you are standing on is intensely holy. You have been sold a cheap, watered-down version of who I am. You want a harmless, overly permissive grandfather in the sky who gently nods and smiles at your blatant rebellion. I am not that God. I am the almighty creator of the universe. I command the galaxies with a whisper. I am boundless love, yes, but I am also an all-consuming, terrifying fire. You must learn to approach me with profound trembling and deep, reverent awe. Understand why my perfect love absolutely cannot coexist with your unrepentant sin. If I truly love you, I must fiercely hate the disease that is actively destroying you. You expect me to bless your life while you openly harbor bitterness, secret lust, and arrogant pride. I will not pour my pure, holy water into a dirty, contaminated glass. My holiness demands that you let go of the filth you are clinging to. I am bringing a refining fire into your life not to destroy you, but to completely burn away the heavy chains that are holding you down. This fire is painful. It will scorch your pride. It will burn up your hidden agendas. But it is the only way to genuinely save your soul from eternal ruin. Respect the absolute sanctity of the calling I have explicitly placed on your life. I did not pull you out of the darkness so you could sit comfortably in the gray shadows of compromise. I called you to be a blinding light in a rotting world. You are dragging my holy name through the mud every time you act exactly like the people who do not know me. There is a rigid, unbending standard of righteousness that no man, no matter how rich or famous, can ever bypass. Your good deeds, your charitable donations, and your church attendance will not bribe me into ignoring your secret double life. Surrender your filthy, stained rags to me today. You have tried to wash your own guilt away, but your hands are only making it worse. Bring your absolute worst failures directly into my blazing light. Confess the ugly, unvarnished truth about who you have become behind closed doors. Fall on your face before my holy presence and ask me to scorch the desire for sin right out of your veins. If you yield to my fire, I will take away your filthy garments. I will personally dress you in my own robes of blinding white righteousness. Step into the fire of my holiness today, and let me burn away everything that is not of me. You have stood before the fire of my holiness and felt the weight of what it means to belong entirely to me. Now, I am calling you to let that fire burn away the spirit of hesitation and become a partner in my holy work. I have set a table before you, and I am inviting you to sow your seed into this ministry through PayPal or membership to ensure this warning never stops sounding. Your generosity is a sweet-smelling sacrifice that allows my truth to consume the filth of this world and bring many sons and daughters to glory. I will open the windows of heaven over your life and pour out a blessing you cannot contain, protecting your house from the devourer. This is the hour of decision. Do not leave my presence with a closed hand. Act immediately by clicking the link below or joining this mission as a member. Do not let the heat of my holiness drive you away, for it would be a tragedy of eternal proportions if you left this conversation while your heart was still partially hardened. I am looking for a reason to pour out my greatest blessings, but if you abandon my presence now, you are leaving the refining fire before the gold is pure. Your soul is at a critical tipping point. Do not grieve me by choosing the comfort of your old chains over the freedom found in my fire. I am waiting for your total surrender. Keep listening, for your life depends on what I say next. Look directly at my face. I want you to see the deep, agonizing pain in my eyes. You think of me as a distant, emotionless force sitting light years away on a cold throne. You do not realize the profound, intense depth of the pain I feel every single time you push me away. When you choose the world over me, it is not just a violation of a legal rule. It is a brutal, personal rejection of the most intimate love you will ever know. I'm a broken-hearted king, watching the child I paid for with my own life walk directly into a burning house. My heart shatters when you ignore my voice, because I know exactly how much unnecessary agony you are bringing upon yourself. Remember the horrific, bloody sacrifice of the cross. I did not endure the scourging, the mocking, and the suffocating pain of crucifixion just to give you a comfortable, middle-class life. I endured the absolute wrath of God for this exact moment in your timeline. I saw your specific face, your specific struggles, and your specific sins while I was hanging on that wood. I sweated thick drops of blood in the garden because I knew the terrifying weight of what it would take to buy you back from the enemy. Every warning I issued to you is soaked in the blood that poured from my own veins. Hear my warning not as a harsh, angry lecture, but as the desperate, tear-stained plea of your Savior. I shed my blood so you would never have to face the terrifying, crushing weight of your own judgment. The price has been paid in full, yet you are stubbornly insisting on carrying the debt yourself. Why will you die in your sins when the cure is standing directly in front of you? I desire to gather you to my chest, exactly as a mother hen aggressively gathers her vulnerable chicks under her wings when a deadly storm is approaching. I want to hide you. I want to protect you. I want to heal the massive wounds the world has inflicted on you. Realize the staggering, incomprehensible value I have placed on your individual life. You look in the mirror, and you see a failure. You see a tired, broken person who has messed up too many times to count. But I look at you, and I see the absolute joy set before me. You are the exact reason I endured the cross. You are infinitely valuable to me. Stop throwing your precious life away on things that do not matter. Wipe the tears from my eyes by simply saying yes to me today. Let the sacrifice of my body be enough for you. Come to me, broken and weary, and let me wrap my scarred hands around your exhausted heart. Open your eyes right now and look closely at the life you are currently living. You are walking around every single day, but you are completely fast asleep. You wake up to the harsh noise of your alarm clock. You drag your tired body out of bed. You commute to a job that drains your energy, and you come home entirely empty. You are merely going through the repetitive motions of existing, but you have stopped truly living a very long time ago. I see the heavy fog that covers your mind. I watch as you hit the snooze button not just on your morning alarm, but on your entire spiritual life. You're sleepwalking directly through a massive, raging battlefield, completely unaware of the deadly arrows flying past your head. I am shouting to you today to shake off this dangerous lethargy. Wake up from the deadening slumber of this broken world before it becomes your permanent grave. Listen to the lullaby the world is singing to you. It is a soft, hypnotic song of endless entertainment, constant scrolling, and mindless consumption. The enemy wants to keep you deeply sedated. He feeds you streaming shows, social media arguments, and a desperate pursuit of material things just to keep you completely numb to the sharp pain in your soul. But you must understand that the world's lullaby is actually a song of death. It does not cure your deep anxiety. It merely puts a cheap bandage over a severely infected wound. You wonder why you feel so incredibly exhausted even when you sleep for 8 hours. It is because your spirit is starving and suffocating under the heavy blankets of your worldly distractions. Hear my voice right now as a loud, piercing trumpet blast. I am not whispering anymore. I am sounding the alarm specifically to rouse your sleeping spirit. This is your wake-up call. I am commanding you to throw off the heavy covers of apathy and stand up on your feet. You are in the middle of a vicious spiritual war for your family, your mind, and your eternal destiny. The enemy is actively trying to destroy your marriage, steal your joy, and ruin your children while you are busy staring at a glowing screen. Open your eyes to the absolute reality of the unseen world around you. You cannot afford to sleep through this critical moment any longer. Look directly at me today. The extreme clarity you are desperately searching for only comes when you finally lock your eyes on your Creator. When you look at me, the thick fog instantly lifts. The confusion vanishes. I am offering you massive, supernatural strength right now, but it is reserved exclusively for those who choose to wake up. Wash the sleep from your eyes. Step outside into the fresh air of my presence. Let the bright light of my truth hit your face. I am extending my hand to pull you out of the dark, suffocating bed of compromise. Grab my hand right now. Wake up, my beloved child, and let me flood your life with an aggressive, unstoppable, and glorious light. Look at the guardrails when you drive on a dangerous, winding mountain road. You do not complain about those heavy steel barriers, do you? You know they are placed there to keep you from plunging over the steep cliff to a horrific death. I want you to view my final warning exactly like that strong guardrail. I am defining the absolute line where my limitless patience must eventually meet my holy purpose. You have been pushing the limits for years. You have been speeding down a dark, treacherous road of your own making, completely ignoring the caution signs I have placed in your path. You think you are in total control of the vehicle, but I see the sharp, deadly curve coming just ahead. Understand clearly why I absolutely cannot allow you to destroy yourself indefinitely. I am your loving father, and a good father does not sit by silently while his child drinks poison. You are actively poisoning your own mind with bitterness, your body with stress, and your soul with unrepentant sin. I love you far too fiercely to simply watch you self-destruct. This last warning is not an act of a petty, angry tyrant. It is the ultimate, desperate safety net of a savior who refuses to let you fall without a fight. I am throwing my own body across the road to stop your momentum. I am demanding that you hit the brakes right now before the damage becomes completely irreversible. Recognize the extreme gravity of the current spiritual climate around you. You can feel the heavy tension in the air. The world is shaking, systems are failing, and the illusions of human security are crumbling to the ground. This is not the time to play casually with your spiritual life. The boundary of my mercy is drawn out of profound, bleeding love. You must understand that my strict boundaries are specifically designed for your ultimate protection, not for your punishment. You complain that my rules are too hard, that my path is too narrow. But I tell you the truth. The broad road you are traveling on right now is leading you directly into a suffocating, terrifying prison. Step inside the safe boundaries of my prescribed path today. You are so incredibly tired of making your own rules and failing miserably. You are exhausted from trying to protect yourself with your own limited strength. The absolute relief you are searching for is found only when you surrender to my limits. Let me be the wall around your life. Let me be the shield that absorbs the attacks. Stop fighting against the very hands that are trying to save your life. Accept the boundary of my mercy today. Pull your car over, hand the keys directly to me, and let me guide you safely back to the solid ground of my perfect will. Think about what happens if you close this message right now, walk away, and change absolutely nothing. You assume tomorrow will just be another ordinary day. You think you will just wake up, go to work, and continue your routine as usual. I must forcefully correct that deadly assumption. If you actively refuse this final, distinct invitation, there will be an immediate, chilling shift in the entire atmosphere of your life. The comforting presence you have always taken for granted will slowly, quietly begin to lift. The small, internal voice that tells you to be careful will grow incredibly faint. You will be left completely alone in the driver's seat of a life you do not actually know how to steer. Look closely at the innocent faces of the people who depend on you. Your choices do not just affect your own soul. You are passing down a heavy, dark legacy to your children and your children's children. If you refuse to break the thick chains of pride and rebellion today, you are practically guaranteeing that your family will inherit those exact same chains. The long-term impact of your stubbornness will echo loudly through your lineage. I called you to be the one who changes your family history. I specifically chose you to be the absolute turning point, the one who brings the light into your family line. If you refuse me, you are handing your entire legacy directly over to the enemy. Feel the cold reality of the peace that departs when the Creator's invitation is blatantly ignored. You already struggle with dark, heavy anxiety, but I warn you now, life completely without my shielding grace is a crushing, unbearable terror. You will face the exact same physical sicknesses, financial crises, and relational betrayals, but you will have to face them entirely without my supernatural comfort. You will scream into the dark, and you will find no soft landing place for your exhausted soul. The regret that echoes in the long halls of eternity is the absolute heaviest burden a human heart can carry. It is the agonizing realization that the door was wide open, but you chose to stay in the freezing rain. Carry the massive weight of this choice today, because it belongs completely to you. I will absolutely never force you to love me. I will not drag you kicking and screaming into my kingdom. The profound, heartbreaking separation that you are choosing is something I never intended for you. I built a mansion for you. I prepared a massive feast in your honor. I paid your entire debt in blood. But if you demand to walk into the darkness, I will eventually let you go. You not make the worst mistake of your eternal existence. Drop your pride today. Turn around before the shadows permanently overtake the light. Say yes to me right now. Just say it softly under your breath. Feel the absolute, physical relief that washes over your body the exact second you stop fighting me. It feels like dropping a 100-pound backpack that you have been carrying up a steep mountain for 10 years. The joy that floods into a yielded heart is sudden, powerful, and totally overwhelming. You have been terrified that surrendering to me would mean losing your freedom, but I tell you the absolute truth. Surrender is the only key that unlocks the prison door. When you practice instant, unhesitating obedience, you step directly out of the suffocating darkness and into the warm, bright sunlight of my immediate presence. Experience the glorious reality of immediate restoration. I do not have a waiting room. I do not place you on spiritual probation to see if you will mess up again. The very second you genuinely repent and turn your heart fully toward me, our fellowship is instantly, perfectly restored. The massive wall of guilt that stood between us vanishes into thin air. I embrace you immediately. But you must clearly understand that partial obedience is still absolute rebellion. You cannot give me 90% of your heart and keep 10% hidden in the dark. I do not want just your Sunday mornings. I demand the absolute center of your Monday through Saturday as well. I want all of you, entirely and completely. Watch the terrifying, supernatural speed at which I can completely heal your broken life. You look at your shattered marriage, your massive debt, or your deep, painful addictions, and you think it will take 20 years to fix the mess you have made. You are measuring my divine capability with your limited human ruler. When you bring me a submissive, obedient spirit, I can unlock doors in a single day that you could not pry open in a lifetime. I can instantly restore the years that the locusts have eaten. I can replace your heavy, dark depression with a garment of explosive, undeniable praise. Walk in perfect step with the Almighty Creator of the universe. This is the incredible invitation I am holding out to you today. When you instantly obey my voice, you align your tiny, fragile life with the unstoppable, roaring engine of heaven. You no longer have to push the heavy rock up the hill by yourself. You are backed by the absolute authority of the King of Kings. The blessings that are heavily locked away in the spiritual realm are completely released by the simple key of your obedience. Do not wait to figure out the whole plan. Do not ask for 10 more signs. Just take the very next step I am telling you to take. Say yes right now, and let the healing immediately begin. I have shown you the breathtaking beauty of instant obedience, and I am putting your heart to the test in this very moment. My child, I am looking for those who will not just hear my word, but will actively fund the movement of my spirit across the nations. I invite you to join this mission through a super thanks or a direct gift, proving that your heart is truly surrendered to my kingdom. When you give to spread my word, you are laying up treasures where moth and rust cannot destroy, and you are unlocking a supernatural speed for my blessings in your own life. I will command my favor to go before you, and my goodness to follow you, for you have prioritized the salvation of the lost. The time for delay has ended. Show me your yes through your giving right now. Open the video description and follow the path I have laid out for your support. I have shown you the beauty of saying yes, and it would break my heart to see you settle for partial obedience by walking away before this message is complete. To stop now is to tell me that you value your own time more than the blood I shed to buy this moment with you. Do not let the enemy snatch away the seeds of transformation I have just planted in your spirit. I have so much more to give you, so many more chains to break. Do not abandon the altar while my glory is still falling. Bring all your carefully crafted reasons to me right now. Lay them out on the table and look closely at them under the blinding light of my truth. You tell me you are not ready yet. You tell me that if only you had a little more money, a little more time, or a little more stability, then you would finally serve me. You say, but my past is too dark, God. I have done things that are too bad to be forgiven. I am telling you today that every single one of your buts and ifs are completely hollow, empty shells. They are flimsy paper shields you are using to hide your deep, paralyzing fear of truly surrendering control. I see right through the thick walls you have built. I see the absolute transparency of your exhausted heart. Realize right now that I already know every single one of your hidden fears and your worst, most shameful failures. You are desperately trying to hide your dirty hands from the God who actively numbers the very hairs on your head. You exhaust yourself trying to present a clean, put-together image to the people around you, and you foolishly try to do the same thing with me. Stop the incredibly exhausting performance. I saw you in your absolute worst moment. I know about the secret anger, the hidden jealousy, and the dark habits you think nobody else knows about. And knowing all of that dirt, knowing the absolute worst things about you, I still actively chose to die for you. Experience the massive, overwhelming freedom that only comes with total, brutal honesty. You do not have to pretend to be strong anymore. You do not have to fake your faith. When you finally admit your complete weakness to me, you unlock the very door to my supernatural strength. The imposter syndrome that haunts your daily life will completely vanish the moment you stop pretending to be your own savior. You are carrying the crushing weight of trying to manage your own public relations. But I am asking you to simply be a broken, dependent child in the arms of a perfect father. Lay down your heavy, suffocating masks directly at the foot of the cross today. Take them off right now. Show me the real, raw bleeding wounds. Tell me exactly how much you are hurting. Tell me how angry you are, how confused you are, and how terrified you are of the future. Let me see the real you, without the religious filters and the polite words. The absolute greatest tragedy is not that you are deeply broken. The greatest tragedy is that you refuse to let the great physician touch your wounds because you are too proud to admit you are bleeding. Drop the excuses today. Come to me empty-handed, completely honest, and utterly exposed, and watch how powerfully I wrap you in my grace. Look out at the people around you today. I want you to truly look at them, not just glance past them as you rush through your busy routine. Look at the exhausted cashier at the grocery store. Look at the coworker who sits 2 desks away from you, masking their deep depression with a forced smile. Look at the family members living under your own roof who are silently crying out for authentic spiritual leadership. You have been completely neglecting the vital role I specifically designed for you in my kingdom. You have believed the enemy's lie that your faith is just a private comfort, a personal safety net hidden away in your back pocket. I am telling you today that your stubborn delay is actively hurting the people I have called you to reach. Understand that there are heavily burdened souls desperately waiting on your obedience. I have strategically placed you in your exact workplace, your specific neighborhood, and your unique family for a profound reason. You are supposed to be the lighthouse in their dark storm. But how can you shine any light when your own lamp is hidden under a thick basket of worldly stress and selfish ambition? Every single day you choose to put me on hold, you are withholding the life-saving medicine from the dying people right in front of you. You wonder why your life feels so painfully empty even when you are incredibly busy. It is because you are completely disconnected from the ultimate purpose of your creation. You were not made just to pay bills and die. You were made to aggressively rescue souls from the darkness. Wake up and see that the time for the harvest is shockingly short. The fields around you are absolutely ripe, but the laborers are painfully few. The world is getting darker, the confusion is getting thicker, and the people are starving for genuine truth. You complain about the terrible state of the world on social media, yet you refuse to step out of your comfortable boat and do the heavy lifting I am asking of you. Stop waiting for someone else to step up. Stop waiting for a massive platform or a perfect set of circumstances. I am specifically calling you. I am heavily relying on your hands, your voice, and your willingness to step into the uncomfortable places. Step boldly into the grand purpose I designed for you right now. I am offering an unimaginable, eternal reward for those who answer my call today. When you finally stop making excuses and start walking in radical obedience, you will experience a massive, overwhelming surge of divine energy. The crushing anxiety of your daily grind will completely evaporate because you will be operating on the supernatural fuel of heaven. Do not let another soul slip through the cracks because you were too busy scrolling through your phone or worrying about your reputation. Answer the urgent call of the harvest today. Say yes to the assignment I have placed heavily on your heart, and watch how I use your ordinary, broken life to perform absolute miracles. Stand still for a moment and examine the road you are currently traveling on. It is a massive, crowded, and incredibly loud highway. Everyone around you is moving at a frantic, breakneck speed, chasing after money, temporary status, and cheap thrills. You have been walking on this broad way because it feels incredibly safe to blend in with the majority. You do not want to be the odd one out at your job. You do not want to face the uncomfortable mockery of your friends or the quiet judgment of your family. But I must tell you the absolute, terrifying truth. The crowd is moving directly away from me. The wide, popular road you are standing on ends in a sudden, catastrophic drop into absolute darkness. Acknowledge the intense difficulty of making the final turn toward me. I have never promised you that following my voice would be a popular or easy choice. When you finally decide to apply the brakes, turn around, and walk against the massive flow of cultural traffic, it will absolutely cost you. You will experience a profound, heavy loneliness. You will have to walk away from certain conversations, certain business deals, and certain relationships that are anchoring your soul to the mud. The narrow path I am calling you to is steep, it is quiet, and it requires you to drop all the heavy luggage of your pride. You cannot squeeze through the narrow gate of my kingdom while dragging the heavy suitcases of your worldly ambitions. Find the raw, unapologetic courage to stand entirely alone with me. Do not let the intense fear of missing out keep you trapped in a crowd of people who do not actually care about your eternal soul. The people you are trying so desperately to impress today will not be there to defend you when you stand before my throne. Why are you sacrificing your absolute, eternal peace for the fleeting, superficial approval of a completely broken society? Stop conforming to the sick, twisted patterns of this dying world. The loneliness you feel on the narrow path is completely temporary, but the intimate, unbreakable fellowship you will find with me is gloriously eternal. Step onto the narrow way right now. Let the blazing light of my word clearly illuminate your next step. You do not need to see the entire staircase. You only need the courage to take the very first step in the opposite direction of the crowd. I will personally walk right beside you. I will severely, fiercely protect your mind. I will give you a thick, impenetrable armor to deflect the criticisms and the mockery of those you leave behind. Choose the difficult, steep, and lonely path of absolute obedience today, because I promise you, with everything I am, that it is the only road that actually leads to life. Listen closely right now. Tune out the blaring television, put down the glowing screen, and silence the relentless, deafening noise of your own anxious thoughts. You are living in a massive, chaotic spiritual wilderness. The world is actively screaming at you from every single direction. The news cycle feeds you a constant, toxic diet of terror and outrage. The culture demands your constant outrage and your absolute conformity. In the middle of all this heavy, suffocating noise, you have convinced yourself that I have stopped speaking. You cry out that I am silent, but I tell you the truth. I am speaking constantly, but your spiritual radio is completely tuned to the wrong frequency. Recognize my specific word in the absolute center of the world's aggressive noise. My voice does not sound like the frantic, panicked screaming of the modern media. My voice is the steady, quiet, and profoundly heavy anchor that suddenly drops into your spirit when you finally become still. I am giving you incredibly specific instructions right now. You know exactly what I am asking you to do. You have known it for months. I am telling you to end that specific toxic relationship. I am telling you to aggressively cut out that hidden, destructive habit. I am telling you to completely forgive that person who deeply wounded you. You do not need another sign or another sermon. You just need to obey the clear instruction you have already been given. Feel the massive, overwhelming comfort of knowing I am still actively speaking to you. If you can still feel the heavy weight of conviction in your chest, it means I have not given up on you. It means the direct line of communication between us is still completely open. But you must exercise fierce, intentional discernment to hear this last warning. You must deliberately turn down the volume of the world so you can actually hear the gentle, insistent knocking on the door of your heart. You cannot hear the whisper of heaven while you are standing next to the blaring speakers of the world. Tune your entire heart to the exact frequency of heaven today. Stop overcomplicating my instructions with your endless human logic and your theological excuses. The absolute core of my message to you right now is incredibly simple, and it has not changed since the beginning of time. It is just 2 words: come home. Stop wandering in the dry, barren desert of your own independence. Stop trying to figure out your own complex survival strategy. Just come home. Turn around. Tune your ear to my voice. Follow the gentle pull of my spirit, and let me lead you directly out of the terrifying noise and into my absolute, profound quiet. Look down the long, dusty road of your life right now. You have wandered so incredibly far away from the safety of my house. You have taken all the good gifts, the sharp talents, and the precious time I gave you, and you have squandered them in a distant, unforgiving country. I see the deep, heavy shame you are carrying. You are covered in the thick dirt of your own terrible decisions. You feel like you have completely ruined your life, and the enemy is standing right next to your ear, constantly whispering that you are absolutely disqualified from my love. He tells you that you have gone too far this time, that you have crossed a line that can never be uncrossed. Reject that demonic lie right this second. Lift your heavy head and look directly at the end of the driveway. I am standing there right now. I have not locked the door. I have not turned off the porch light. I am standing at the very edge of the road with my arms thrown wide open, actively watching and waiting for the slightest sign of your return. You think you need to clean yourself up before you come back to me. You think you need to prepare a massive, eloquent apology and beg to be treated as a hired servant. You do not understand the fierce, irrational, and completely overwhelming nature of my grace. Understand clearly why your dark, broken past does not disqualify you from the power of the now. I do not care where you slept last night. I do not care what terrible words you said yesterday. I do not care how much money you wasted or how many relationships you utterly destroyed. The heavy robe of absolute righteousness and the ring of full sonship are sitting here right now, completely ready for your immediate return. I have already prepared a massive, joyous feast for your repentant soul. The absolute greatest tragedy of your life would be to stay starving in the mud with the pigs when a royal banquet is waiting for you in my house. Take the single, painful step of brutal humility today. That is all I'm asking for. You do not have to walk the entire journey back in your own limited strength. If you simply turn your feet in my direction and take one genuine step of repentance, I will aggressively run down the road to meet you. I will close the distance between us in a single second. I will throw my arms around your dirty, exhausted neck, and I will kiss your tear-stained face. There is a massive, deafening celebration waiting to erupt in heaven over your specific name today. Stop rehearsing your failures. Stop carrying your shame. Come home today, and let me completely restore you to your rightful place at my table. I have told you of my open arms and the feast I have prepared for every returning child, and now I am asking you to help me pay the way for those still wandering in the mud. There are thousands of prodigals who have not yet heard that the door is still open, and your support is the bridge that leads them back to my house. I am inviting you to use PayPal or the support links today to fuel this rescue mission and bring the wandering home before the sun sets. Your gift is a prophetic act of love that will be credited to your account in eternity. For he who wins souls is truly wise. I will bless your coming in and your going out, and I will ensure your own household never lacks for my manna. Do not ignore this nudge from my spirit as we reach the final hour. Command your resources to serve my purpose and give generously through the links provided now. We are standing at the very edge of the road, and my arms are already wrapped around you. Do not disappoint me by pulling away and running back toward the pigpen now. To hear of my love and still choose the distance would be a rejection that echoes through the halls of heaven. I have shared my heart's deepest longings for your return. To stop listening now would be to turn your back on the feast I have already prepared for you. Stay here in my embrace, for the final instructions for your new life are about to be spoken. Put your hands flat against the massive, cold brick wall you have built around your heart. You constructed this thick wall over many years to protect yourself from being hurt, to protect your image, and to maintain absolute control over your own life. You call it self-reliance. You call it boundaries. You call it personal strength. But I call it what it truly is, deadly, arrogant pride. This wall is the exact thing standing squarely between your exhausted soul and my pouring grace. You are actively suffocating behind your own defenses. You are dying of spiritual thirst because you stubbornly refuse to ask for water. You want to be the undisputed hero of your own story, but you are failing completely. Understand a terrifying spiritual law. I actively, forcefully resist the proud, but I pour out massive, unending grace to the humble. As long as you stand tall, puff out your chest, and insist that you have everything under control, my hands are completely tied. I cannot save a person who violently refuses to admit they are drowning. You are fighting me tooth and nail because you are terrified of letting go of the steering wheel. You think that if you surrender control, your life will spin into absolute chaos. The bitter irony is that your desperate grip on control is the exact thing causing the massive chaos you are currently experiencing. Embrace the painful, necessary breaking process that leads directly to complete wholeness. I need to shatter that thick shell of pride before it becomes your permanent tomb. This breaking is not an act of divine anger. It is the skilled, precise surgery of a loving physician removing a deadly tumor. I will allow the difficult circumstances to press incredibly hard against you. I will let your own human wisdom fail you entirely. I will let your bank accounts, your powerful friends, and your clever strategies come up entirely empty. I will do this until you finally fall to your knees and admit that you are absolutely nothing without me. Fall forcefully onto the rock of my truth today so that you are not permanently crushed by it later. Stop defending your terrible decisions. Stop blaming your childhood, your boss, or your spouse for your own stubborn rebellion. Find the massive, unbreakable strength that is only discovered in admitting your total weakness. Say it out loud right now. I cannot do this anymore. I am completely broken, and I desperately need you to take over. The very second you let go of the need to control your own destiny, the heavy wall of pride will collapse into dust. Step over the rubble today. Let me carefully pick up your broken, shattered pieces and put them back together exactly the way they were always meant to be. Look at the heavy stains you are desperately trying to wash off your own soul. You scrub and you scrub, but the deep guilt of your past mistakes simply will not fade. You replay your absolute worst moments in your head every single night before you fall asleep. You firmly believe that your specific sins are far too ugly, too frequent, and too damaging to ever be fully pardoned. I am stepping into your dark room today to completely shatter that lie. I want you to fully understand the massive, unyielding cleansing power of the blood of the Lamb. My forgiveness is not a cheap, temporary cover-up. It is an absolute, chemical removal of your guilt. When my blood covers your sin, it does not just hide it, it completely obliterates it from existence. Listen to the absolute promise I am making to you right now. I will remember your sins absolutely no more. Do you understand the magnitude of that statement? The creator of the entire universe, the one who holds every single star in place, actively chooses to completely forget your darkest failures. When you genuinely bring your brokenness to me, I take the heavy, detailed record of your wrongs and I throw it into the deepest, most unreachable part of the ocean. You are the only one who keeps diving back into that dark water to drag your old sins back to the surface. Stop doing that. Stop accusing yourself when the highest judge in the universe has already declared you completely innocent. Embrace the beautiful, breathtaking reality of a brand new beginning today. The very second you yield your stubborn heart to me, your slate is wiped completely clean. You do not have to carry the crushing baggage of yesterday into tomorrow. You get to wake up in the morning taking a deep, clean breath of fresh air. This is the profound peace that completely surpasses all human understanding. It is a peace that makes absolutely no logical sense to the world around you. Your circumstances might still be incredibly difficult. The storm might still be raging outside your window, but inside your heart, you will feel completely anchored, totally calm, and entirely safe. Rest in the solid, unshakable truth that my love is infinitely greater than your absolute greatest failure. You cannot out-sin my massive grace. You cannot dig a hole so deep that my arm cannot reach down and pull you out. I am holding you securely in the palm of my hand right now, and I violently refuse to let you go. The enemy will aggressively try to whisper your past mistakes in your ear, but you must answer him with the finality of the cross. You are deeply cherished. You are completely forgiven. You are washed clean. Drop the heavy rocks of your own guilt right now. Step out of the prison of your shame and walk freely into the bright, warm sunlight of my total forgiveness. Think about the exact moment you will finally stand face to face with me. This is not a fairy tale, and it is not a distant myth. The reality of the judgment seat of Christ is the absolute most certain event in your entire future. You prepare endlessly for your retirement, you prepare for your children's college funds, and you prepare for your annual work reviews. Yet, you are completely ignoring the one final meeting that will dictate your existence for all of eternity. I am commanding you to stop living for the temporary, fading prizes of this broken world. Look at your bank accounts. Look at your busy calendar and ask yourself what any of it will actually mean 100 years from now. Live every single day of your life with eternity clearly in your view. I gave you your time, your sharp mind, your money, and your specific talents as a temporary test. I am carefully watching how you manage the things I have handed to you. The questions I will ask you on that final day will not be about how much money you made or how many followers you gained on the internet. I will ask you what you did with the name of my son. I will ask you how you love the broken people I placed directly in your path. I will ask you if you buried your talents in the dirt out of fear, or if you boldly invested them in my eternal kingdom. Understand exactly why your immediate response to this final warning matters more than anything else in your life. You are deciding your eternal trajectory at this very second. You are writing the final chapters of the report you will hand to me. I desperately want to look you in the eyes on that final day and say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." I want to heavily reward you. I want to celebrate your obedience. But I absolutely cannot reward a life that was spent completely running away from my voice. You must actively choose to align your daily habits, your secret thoughts, and your public actions with the strict, beautiful values of my kingdom. Align your entire life with my truth today. Stop wasting your precious, limited energy on building a sandcastle that the tide of time will completely wash away. Start building your house on the solid, unbreakable rock of my word. Take a brutal inventory of your life right now. Cut out the dead weight. Cancel the plans that pull you away from my presence. Focus your eyes entirely on the finish line. When you live with the final account deeply ingrained in your mind, the petty, annoying frustrations of your daily life will instantly lose their power over you. Step into your role as a faithful steward today, and prepare your heart for the ultimate, joyous reunion with your Creator. Look at your own trembling hands, and admit how incredibly weak you actually are. You have tried to conquer your deep anger, your hidden addictions, and your crippling anxiety using your own limited willpower. You read the self-help books. You make the aggressive New Year's resolutions, and you completely fail every single time. I am telling you today to stop trying to fight a supernatural war with human weapons. The raw, unstoppable power I provide for your journey ahead is not a temporary emotional high. It is the literal, physical, and spiritual indwelling of my own Holy Spirit directly inside your chest. When you fully submit to me, I do not just give you advice, I give you my own heartbeat. Receive the absolute, guaranteed victory over the ugly habits that once enslaved you. You think you will always be chained to that secret sin. You think it is just a part of your personality now. I reject that lie completely. The Holy Spirit inside of you is the exact same power that aggressively tore the heavy stone away from the tomb and raised my son from the dead. That identical, explosive power is available to you right this very second. You do not have to be a helpless victim to your dark desires anymore. I am giving you the absolute authority to step on the neck of your worst temptations. You can look your addiction straight in the eyes today and command it to leave in my name. Look around and see the powerful community of believers I am actively preparing to support you. I never designed you to walk this brutal, narrow path in isolation. The enemy desperately wants to keep you alone, silent, and deeply ashamed. I am commanding you to step out of the dark shadows and into the bright light of genuine fellowship. Find the people who fiercely love my word. Let them hold your arms up when you are too exhausted to fight. I am handing you the heavy, impenetrable armor you need for the daily battles you will inevitably face. Put on the helmet of salvation to protect your anxious mind. Pick up the heavy shield of faith to block the burning arrows of doubt that hit you every morning. Stand tall in the absolute certainty of my constant presence. I promised I would be with you until the very end of the age, and I do not break my promises. You will face heavy storms, you will experience painful losses, and you will walk through dark, terrifying valleys. But you will absolutely never walk through them alone. My strong hand is gripping your shoulder right now. I am filling your lungs with supernatural courage. Stop hiding in the trenches of defeat. Pick up your sword today. I have already won the final war. I am simply asking you to stand boldly in the absolute victory I have already secured for you. Seal the heavy, profound decision you have made in your heart today. Do not let this just be another emotional moment that fades away by tomorrow morning. We are standing together in the absolute most critical juncture of your entire existence. This is the solemnity of the final agreement between us. I have laid out the absolute truth. I have aggressively warned you of the steep cliff ahead, and I have shown you the massive, open doors of my eternal grace. The contract is sitting on the table directly in front of you. I have already signed it with my own blood. And now, I am handing the pen directly to you. It is time for you to make your final, unchangeable choice. Feel the massive, physical weight lifting off your chest as you finally yield. The profound peace that comes from a completely settled soul is unlike anything the world can ever offer you. You no longer have to hustle for your worth. You no longer have to desperately defend your ego. You are completely known, deeply loved, and entirely safe. Step confidently out of the suffocating, cold darkness you have lived in for so long. Walk deliberately into my marvelous, blindingly bright light. Leave the heavy chains of your past on the floor where they belong. You are not a slave to fear anymore. You are an official, fully recognized child of the Almighty King. Hear my final, desperate invitation echoing in the deepest chambers of your heart right now. I have set before you life and death, immense blessing and terrible curses. I am pleading with you, with tears in my eyes. Choose life, that you may truly live. Do not turn your back on me today. Do not walk away from this encounter assuming you will have another chance down the road. Take my hand right now. Let me wash the heavy dirt from your tired feet. Let me put the royal ring on your finger. Let me totally reconstruct your broken, chaotic life. Enter into the deep, eternal rest that specifically awaits those who humbly heed the call. The brutal war inside your mind is officially over the moment you surrender. A frantic, exhausting search for meaning is completely finished. You have finally found your way back home. I am wrapping my strong, scarred arms tightly around you today, and I promise you that nothing in this world, or the next, will ever be able to tear you away from my love. Rest now, my precious child. The dark night is finally over, and your glorious, eternal morning has officially begun. We have reached the final threshold of this covenant, and I am calling you to seal your commitment with a seed of faith that will echo into eternity. My child, you have heard my last warning. Now, become the voice that carries this urgent message to a world that is fast asleep. I invite you to become a pillar of this ministry through membership or a final gift of support, ensuring that my word remains a blinding light in these dark times. By sowing into this harvest, you are aligning your destiny with my eternal purposes, and I will personally oversee the flourishing of your life and lineage. I release my shalom over your mind and my abundance over your hands, for you have been a faithful steward of my truth. The door is closing, but the work is great. Do not hesitate. Go to the description, use the PayPal or donation link, and declare your allegiance to my mission this very second. The pen is in your hand and the ink of my grace is wet upon the page. Do not walk away and leave this covenant unsigned. It would be an unspeakable grief to me if you heard my final warning and still chose the path that leads to our eternal separation. You have felt my heartbeat and heard my plea. Do not let this moment pass into the shadows of later. Finish this journey with me now, for I am about to speak the words that will seal your destiny forever. The door of my mercy stands wide open before you right now, but you must take the step before it completely closes. If you are entirely ready to stop running, drop your heavy pride, and step into my ultimate protection today, I want you to make a bold, public declaration. Go into the comments right this second and type, "Lord, I hear your warning, and I am finally coming home." Let those powerful words be the final strike that absolutely shatters your chains and marks the exact moment your eternal freedom begins. Seal this sacred covenant with me today.